We have mapped the surface of Mars, and we have photographed the distant rings of Saturn. Yet, over 95% of our own oceans remain a complete and utter mystery, hidden away in total darkness. But what happens when we finally peer into the abyss? Sometimes, we uncover things that defy the laws of science, anomalies that simply should not exist. From a massive geometric disk resting on the freezing Baltic seabed that magically forces electronic equipment to shut down, to a perfectly engineered stone highway buried beneath sea mud before the Egyptian pyramids were ever conceived. World governments are spending millions of dollars to keep these underwater discoveries hidden from the public eye. Why did an international coalition of nations attempt to bury a modern passenger shipwreck under thousands of tons of solid concrete? Today we are diving deep into 3 forbidden underwater discoveries, secrets that modern history and science are desperately trying to make you forget. Our journey begins in 2011. A specialized team of Swedish treasure hunters, known as Ocean X, was scanning the floor of the Baltic Sea for historical shipwrecks. Suddenly, at a depth of 90 meters, their side-scan sonar picked up an image that left the entire crew in complete silence. It was a colossal circular structure, 60 meters long, resembling a sunken, otherworldly craft. While mainstream scientists quickly dismissed the discovery as a simple, natural rock formation, the divers who actually risked their lives to go down there tell a completely different story. Swedish diver Dennis Asperg has spent years examining the object. His first-hand description is impossible to ignore. He revealed that the circular structure isn't even part of the seafloor. It is completely detached, resting on top of a massive pillar featuring perfect 90-degree right angles, long straight corridors, and smooth perpendicular walls. The mystery intensified when the team managed to chip off physical samples of the structure and send them to a laboratory for professional analysis. The results were baffling. The object contained complex metallic components fused directly with volcanic basalt. This exact elemental combination does not occur naturally in the Baltic Sea, meaning the structure was either intentionally manufactured or originated from somewhere else entirely. But the physical appearance of the anomaly wasn't the most terrifying part. The divers noticed that as their ship approached the coordinate directly above the object, a massive wave of electromagnetic interference hit their instruments. Satellite phones died, GPS navigation failed, and deep-sea cameras instantly shut down. The moment the vessel backed away 200 meters, all electronics instantly flicked back on. Furthermore, the water directly surrounding the circular structure behaves in ways that violate thermal physics. The temperature drops drastically to near freezing, far colder than the surrounding sea. Right next to the disk, researchers documented a strange, circular void in the seabed. At regular, measured intervals, this void pushes sediment out and pulls it back in, acting exactly like a giant, mechanical lung, breathing deep beneath the waves. Years after the discovery, Dennis Asperg shared a separate, deeply unsettling event. He claimed that during his investigations he witnessed an unmarked, cigar-shaped craft operating silently in the waters right next to a top-secret Swedish plutonium facility. Is it possible that this underwater anomaly is part of a highly classified military defense system, or an ancient, dormant technology that world powers are quietly monitoring? To this day, but the Baltic Sea isn't the only place hiding forbidden architecture. In 2021, marine archaeologists were analyzing satellite imagery off the coast of Korčula, a small island in Croatia. Beneath the crystal-clear waters, they noticed strange geometric shapes and unnatural patterns half seen beneath the tides. Curious, they geared up and dove into the water to see what history had left behind. What they uncovered shocked the archaeological community. Deep on the seabed lay the remains of Solin, a completely submerged Neolithic settlement. But the ancient village was just the beginning. In 2023, while excavating the thick layers of sea mud, their trowels struck solid rock. They cleared away the sediment to reveal a perfectly constructed, intact stone road, running straight through the underwater ruins. This sunken highway is 13 feet wide, carefully laid stone by hands that have been dead for millennia. Somehow, across thousands of years of violent Mediterranean storms, shifting tides, and rising sea levels, both the village and the road survived completely intact. Scientists note that it is an absolute miracle. The surrounding islands perfectly shielded this specific coastline from destructive deep-sea waves, preserving a ghost of a forgotten world. Radiocarbon dating of organic material found on the stones revealed a terrifying timeline. This highway is nearly 7,000 years old. It was constructed by the mysterious Var culture, a Stone Age society that lived long before the rise of Egyptian pharaohs, before the construction of Stonehenge, and before human history recorded its very first kings. These people found shelter in local coastal caves, crafting delicate painted pottery that is considered some of the oldest in all of Europe. But these primitive farmers weren't as simple as history books claim. Among the shards of pottery discovered near the sunken road, archaeologists found a drawing that changed everything, the oldest depiction of a seafaring boat ever found in Europe. Even in the Stone Age, the Var culture was dreaming of journeys beyond the horizon. They possessed the advanced engineering skills to construct a level, wave-resistant stone highway connecting their island village to the mainland. How did a Stone Age civilization calculate such precise engineering? And what cataclysmic event caused this entire civilization to sink into the ocean forever? Modern science remains completely silent. While ancient ruins are left to sit in peace, modern maritime history is actively being written over by global powers. On September 27, 1994, a giant passenger ferry named the MS Estonia departed from the port of Tallinn on a routine overnight voyage to Stockholm. On board were 989 innocent souls, completely unaware that they were sailing straight into a nightmare. As the ferry pushed into the open waters of the Baltic Sea, it encountered a violent autumn storm. But the crew was experienced and the ship was built to handle rough waters. Then, at exactly 1 o'clock in the morning, a massive, deafening metallic crash echoed through the entire structure of the hull. Terrified survivors stated that it didn't feel like a wave, it felt like a violent, physical explosion beneath their feet. Within 45 minutes, the giant vessel capsized and sank into the freezing waters, taking 852 lives down into the abyss. An official joint investigation commission was quickly assembled by Sweden, Finland, and Estonia. Their final report concluded that the heavy waves simply broke the locking mechanisms on the ship's bow visor, causing water to flood the car deck. Case closed. Except, the commission completely omitted the statements of the survivors. Multiple witnesses explicitly testified that they heard and felt a massive explosion before the water rushed in. The metal locks of a bow door could never produce a sound that powerful. The official narrative was falling apart. Then, the behavior of the involved governments turned completely surreal. In 1995, Sweden, Finland, Estonia, and even the United Kingdom signed an unprecedented international treaty. They declared the shipwreck a maritime grave and made it a strict criminal offense, punishable by years in prison, for any citizen, diver, or independent researcher to approach or look at the wreckage. Military vessels were deployed to permanently patrol the waters. But the cover-up went even further. The Swedish authorities devised an absurd plan to spend millions of dollars to completely encase the entire sunken cruise liner under thousands of tons of solid concrete. They claimed it was out of respect for the victims. However, the grieving families were outraged, holding massive public demonstrations, pointing out that burying the ship would destroy all physical evidence of what actually happened. The concrete operation was stopped, but the military diving ban remained strictly enforced. In 2024, a former customs officer finally broke his silence on Swedish television. He confessed that just weeks before the fatal disaster, his superiors ordered him to bypass inspection on military cargo vans boarding the MS Estonia. The passenger ferry was secretly being used to smuggle highly sensitive, classified Soviet military technology out of Russia. Did an opposing intelligence agency detonate an underwater explosive? Or launch a torpedo to prevent that secret cargo from reaching its destination? The ultimate proof emerged in 2020. A daring journalist named Henrik Evertsson defied the international prison threat and sent a remote-operated drone down to the restricted wreck site. What his camera captured shocked the world: a massive 4-meter-wide jagged hole torn directly into the heavy steel side of the ship's hull. Experts analyzed the footage and concluded that this devastating damage could not have been caused by waves or the seabed. It was the undeniable result of an external explosion, or a high-speed collision with a military submarine. The journalist was immediately arrested by authorities for exposing the truth. Though the government was forced to reopen a limited investigation, they quickly dismissed the findings to protect their decades-old secrets. Whether it is unnatural geometric anomalies in the Baltic, prehistoric stone highways from forgotten civilizations, or lethal military operations covered up by international treaties, the terrifying depths of our oceans hold secrets that are meant to stay buried in the dark. What do you think is truly hiding at the bottom of the Baltic Sea? Was the MS Estonia intentionally destroyed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Unknown Mysteries for more deep dives into the forbidden corners of our world. Until